Goddamn, that freaking train in the background is gonna make me lose my mind. But from horror on ice to a trip in Japan, this person just has so many stories that I'm so excited to read about this. So, let's get into it. Remember in the last story how I said I had friends who were into anime but not super obsessed? Well, the weeb in this one was, and I say heavily on the emphasis. So the story begins with a couple of my friends and my girlfriend coming over for a few Friday drinks and video games. Myself will be called Cherry, as that's my nickname. My girlfriend Jewel, my guy friend Nick, and the weeb I'll call Neko, and you'll understand why later. I've since finished my uni studies since the last story, but I'm still in contact with my friends I've made there, and weeb being one of them. We're playing Cards Against Humanity since I had gotten tired of playing Smash Bros, and Jewel brings up the topic of Japan. My girlfriend worked as a travel agent while in uni to pay for her rent and basic needs. While she no longer works as one, she still has friends with the people who still work at her agency, and they had a group package deal going on for several destinations, including Japan, China, and Bali. Jewel and I were already considered going, but we thought how cool it would be to bring some friends with us. Nick and Neko were both, of course, thrilled and immediately said yes. So the rest of the evening, we continued talking about the trip and making plans. Fast forward a week and we had already booked our tickets for the flights, and Jewel had organized hotels in several cities, including Kyoto, Tokyo, as well as Nagasaki, as well as several smaller, more historical locations. We spent the next week packing, meeting up with each other, and places to plan different destinations to visit. I was interested in more of the nature-based locations, such as the many vast forests, as well as the city of Nara, because I really wanted to see a bowing deer in person and feed him biscuits. Jewel and Nick were more interested in more historical locations, as they were both majored in history and took great interest into the war and its impact on modern society and the economy of both then and now. Neko, however, was interested in Harajuku, Akihabara, and many other locations associated with anime or Lolita. During one such meetup at her place, she would try to skew the group's attention towards these places, and would seemingly pout whenever we talked about another location that didn't have to do with anime or manga. It was kind of annoying, but in all honesty, I didn't mind. I've seen plenty of well-behaved, respectful people go to Japan just for the pop culture, and that's fine. Neko never really gave any signs of being a weeb. Sure, she liked anime and manga, but she never spoke in broken Japanese. She never claimed to be Japanese or even half Japanese, and while she owned some Japanese apparel, so did I, Pixie, and Jewel, and basically every other pastel-loving girl I knew. She had some manga and a couple anime box sets, but that was it. She didn't wear cat ears or squeal, "Kawaii desu na." She just seemed to be like a normal nerd. Fast forward again, and we arrive in the airport for our 2-week adventure in Japan. Jewel and I both had enough saved to shop a little, buy food for ourselves, and we had all chipped in to pay for our hotel, so everything seemed fine and dandy. As we were waiting to board our flight, Neko showed her first red flag. She was looking through pictures she had saved on her tablet of Lolita dresses, and a lot of them angelically pretty, and Alice in Pirates when she blurted out, "I can't wait to get these dresses, they're so pretty, there's one on my top of my list," she said, showing us lovely looking pastel purple dresses. Jewel peered over and looked it up and down before shaking her head. If you're lucky, you'll be able to find it in a Bodyline or a different second-hand Lolita store. They discontinued that series over 2 years ago. Something I should note is that Jewel is a lover of Japanese fashion, much like Pixie, and she's a huge fan of the angelic, pretty designs. She's been following the brand's releases for years, and she knows that after a while they'll eventually discontinue a series to make new patterns and prints. Neko had sneered and scowled at Jewel. "Why would you know? You don't even wear Lolita." Funny thing is, while Jewel doesn't wear the dresses, she wears the blouses and accessories for several Lolita brands. Before I could defend my girlfriend, Jewel just raised her brow with a smug expression before standing up, turning around and grabbing the collar of her blouse, showing the brand label before sitting back down, holding her legs in the classiest manner possible, not saying another word. This is one of the reasons why I love my girlfriend. She's not afraid to sass anyone who pisses her off. Neko scowled and continued looking through her pictures. I took this opportunity to speak up. After the horror on ice incident, I wasn't going to stand by and take the risk of this going the same way. Look, Neko, I get that you're excited and all, but there's no need to talk to Jewel like this when she didn't even say anything offensive. We're going to be spending 2 weeks together. But if you're going to start drama now, then we should just leave me behind. Neko immediately calmed down and shook her head. I'm sorry, she stammered out. I was just up so late last night making sure I had everything prepared that I'm just very tired right now. I didn't mean to snap like that. I'm sorry, Jewel. Jewel graciously accepted the apology, and with that I thought the situation was over and we'd have a great time. Oh, fuck, was I wrong. After an incredibly long flight, we arrived in Osaka International Airport, and we made our way off the plane into our hotel in Kyoto. We had taken the train to get to our location. I'm claustrophobic, and the idea of being packed like a sardine terrified me. Thankfully, though, we arrived after the evening rush, and the train was inhabited only by a few people, most of them being young businessmen. Let me say I was absolutely astonished by the kindness of these people. They helped us with our luggage and even told us a few of the best small places to eat. After the train journey, we arrived in Kyoto Station. We were tired, jet-lagged, and starving. After getting a ride to our hotel, we booked in and ordered a very late dinner. We were originally just going to go out to the corner store and grab some food to avoid bothering the hotel staff, since we had already arrived so late at night, but they insisted that it was no bother. The staff kindly helped us with our belongings to our room, and we were all tired, but we were so happy just to be there. All except for Neko. As soon as we got into our room, we dropped our stuff and started picking out beds. Almost immediately, Neko dumped her stuff on the double bed, and was beginning to unpack when Nick spoke up saying, Hey, Neko, you and me are sleeping on the single beds. Cherry and Jewel have the double. Instead of responding like a normal person, Neko replied, Why? I want to sleep on it. Before I could speak, Jewel piped up and saying, Because Cherry and myself requested the double so we could sleep beside each other, and let you and Nick have your own beds. Neko proceeded to pick up her bag and throw it onto the single bed before climbing in and pouting. Fine, it's bad enough that we're not staying in a traditional Japanese building, but it's just fine. I'll sleep in a crummy bed and let you two have your way. All three of us could not believe what we had just heard. Neko is 25 years old, and she's throwing a temper tantrum over a bed. Jewel and myself were ready to speak when Nick scolded Neko for her behavior. Oh, wake up! There are only 3 beds here, including the double, and there's 4 of us, he shouts, going off on her, telling her that even if she did get the double bed, she'd be sharing it with someone else, so she might as well get the single bed, and that there was no way we could afford a traditional Japanese hotel before ending up telling her to stop complaining. Neko didn't reply and instead continued to unpack her things, all the while pouting. I was pissed off, and I told her, saying, You can either act like an adult, or you can just fuck off and get your own hotel room, because I'm not putting up with your bullshit. We came here to have fun, and if you're going to start this shit over a bed, then we're just going to enjoy our vacation without you. Neko replied, I'm sorry, okay? Geez, you guys are such drama queens. Jewel rolled her eyes. You're the one throwing a temper tantrum for not getting the bed you wanted. She didn't respond after that. Around 11 p.m., our food arrives to our room. I ordered a pizza to split with Jewel, Nick ordered spicy pork ribs, and Neko ordered sushi. We were starving, so we tucked in our meals. Neko ate hers very clumsily, with the chopsticks getting rice all over the carpet. She then started to lecture us that we were in Japan, why weren't we eating Japanese food? Nick looked up from his food with a look that said I'm so over this shit on his face. Because we just got off a 12-hour flight, half of which I spent barfing up the crappy airline food. I want to eat something familiar to stop my stomach from turning, and I'm sure Jewel and Cherry feel the same way. Cherry both me and my girlfriend agreed. We'll be going sightseeing tomorrow, so we'll eat something traditional then, I said as I ate my 3rd slice of pizza. Neko just glared and continued eating. The next day was when Neko's true colors came out.